welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights as well. The head of state presides over a ceremony dedicated to the realization of satellite launch sites in Oboh. And on the international scene, a bus collision in Senegal, 40 people dead and dozens injured. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The head of state presides over a ceremony dedicated to the realization of satellite launch sites in Oboh. The head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Ghali, presided this Monday late morning at the Palace of the Republic a ceremony of parliamentary agreement of technological partnership between our country and the company Hong Kong Aerospace Technology Group, specialized in the design, realization, and operation of platforms for launching satellites and rockets. The audience between President Gelle and the senior staff of the Chinese company served as a framework for consultation on the timetable for the final intervention of the project and the various phases of which it will be composed. Supposed to give over a period of 5 years, our country a series of platforms for launching satellites and rockets. The technological partnership project, which acquires today the principle of agreement, is itself subject to the prior realization of a series of development infrastructure. Therefore, the northern region of Oboh, which will host this mega project, is assigned the duty to acquire upstream a breakout port and a highway of international standard, essential to the routing of heavy materials necessary for the establishment of aerospace sites. Transversal project, it will also dispose an inevitable process of energetic development, solar, wind, hydroelectric. This, if only because the infrastructure under construction requires a high need of electricity. There is no doubt that through this project, our country accesses a wider range of strategic data on its development and a greater ability to access a crucial order of issues, including those related to the consequences of climate change. A win-win partnership, Djibouti is chosen to host this project of about $1 billion based on its geographical location near the equator, conducive to the resolution of high-definition shots in the missions of observation and satellite analysis and airspace rockets. The agreement provides for the final concession of aerospace infrastructure built to the Djiboutian side after a co-management of 30 years expected to lead the process of transfer of skills and expertise. The Minister of Higher Education and Research, Mr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed, signed for the Djiboutian side the agreement this morning. The Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the People's Republic of China, Mr. Abdullah Abdullahi Miguel, took part in this event. As for the company Hong Kong Aerospace Technology Group, it was represented by its general manager, Mr. Wilson Lau Wai Hong, accompanied by his main collaborators. The Vice President of the Aerospace Technologies Group of Hong Kong, Alan Wai Feng, said that the Republic of Djibouti meets a series of requirements to build a satellite launch center. Let's listen to him.
Going to invest and develop a spaceport for orbital launch, for commercial orbital launch in Djibouti, so that we will build in a total of 7 launch pads for rockets to launch to orbit. And this is a private venture, so we expect to invest and develop and in a BOT fashion, so that the spaceport will be transferred to the Djiboutian government in 35 years, after 30 years of the operation license. Well, Djibouti has a very excellent location geographically, because for orbital launch, we are going to lead eastern coastline, and also it would be more beneficial. It is closer to a logistically convenient location. Djibouti's port and logistics is excellent for us. And also, of course, we will lead the government support for this kind of project to be successful. And we thank the Djiboutian government for their full support to this project.
In an interview granted to our colleague Awu Abdi after the meeting between President Gelle and the representatives of the company Hong Kong Aerospace Technology Group, specialized in the design, realization, and exploitation of satellite and rocket launching platforms, and following the parliamentary agreement of technological partnerships between the two parties, the Ambassador of Djibouti in China, Mr. Abdullah Abdullahi Miguel, who was present at the ceremony, answered our questions. He said that this Hong Kong company is proposing to our country a project worth of $1 billion in the Oboh region for the construction of 7 aerospace platforms. This company wanted to choose another country for this aerospace, he said, but finally decided to set foot in Djibouti because the environment and conditions were right in our country, especially since we are in the orbit at the equator, making this noble more relevant. This very important project that will require an investment of $1 billion will continue for 5 years between 2023 and 2027. This investment will not cost anything to Djibouti's finances since the funds come from external donors. This project is welcome as it will enhance the international reputation of our nation at the geostrategic level, and Djibouti will have transparency and visibility at the global level. It should be noted that our head of state, following his clear vision, has ordered the Minister of MENFOP to train specialized engineers capable of launching small satellites into space. Fortunately for us, this project will have a great impact on the technological and scientific future of our country because thanks to this project, our engineers will be trained in 7 special centers by investors with platforms capable of putting in orbit the satellites, but also to launch rockets in space or any special machines. In a speech by the Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, he referred to the importance of this project, whose organization reflects the importance of infrastructure. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, received this morning the new ambassador of Germany. The discussions focused on several topics of common interest. The new diplomat emphasized the friendly ties between the Republic of Djibouti and Germany, and she spoke of her intention to further strengthen cooperation. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, welcomed the ambassador and pledged his full support during her tenure in Djibouti. The meeting was attended by the head of the Prime Minister's office, Mr. Ali Silai. As part of the activities of the National Solidarity Week, which was kicked off yesterday by the Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed at the People's Palace for the second day of the week, under the high patronage of the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, the UNFD hosted this morning an evaluation of the achievements of the pilot unit of the Islamic Microfinance and the awarding of certificates to the best promoters organized by the ADDS. The event took place in the presence of the Secretary General of UNFD, Madam Fatuma Musa Abdi, the Mayor of Djibouti City, Mr. Saeed Dawood Mohammed, the Director General of ADDS, Mr. Mahdi Mohammed Jama', the President of the Municipality of Balbala, Mr. Mohammed Hassan, Members of Parliament, as well as all the beneficiaries of the Islamic Microfinances. Since its creation with UNFD and its launched their diversification until the introduction of the Islamic funds with an investment rate of 0 has also been able to raise the expectations of many beneficiaries in order that the UNFD must act with the partnership of MAS and ADDS in a large number of social programs, namely adult literacy, human capital building through a pitch, essential social practices, women empowerment through training, banking and IGI creation, integrated and interconnected programs that constitute a set of services to better prepare, equip and empower beneficiaries. The Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Madam Uluf Ismail Abdo, expressed her assistance in attending the occasion and said that within the framework of empowering vulnerable families in achieving their economic integration, the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, through the Djibouti Agency for Social Development, as well as through its funds, has implemented relevant programs and tools such as microfinance in order to provide affordable products and services to a large segment of the population excluded from the system. Within the framework of the National Week of Solidarity, the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Madam Uluf Ismail Abdo, held a meeting with the Mayor, Mr. Saeed Dawood Mohammed, at the presence of the communes in the City Hall. Created at the initiative of the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, the National Solidarity Week is commemorated and organized every year in January since 2008 by the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, which is the government authority in charge of the implementation of the policy to fight against poverty and promote national solidarity. This National Week is an opportunity for the government to inform and sensitize the public on the multiple interventions and social programs of the MAS, and more globally, the 2035 vision of the Republic of Djibouti, but also to take stock of the National Strategy of Social Protection 2018-2022. Also present were the first Djibouti Mayor, Mrs. Fatuma Mohammed Kamil, and the President of the Commune of Bel'os and Balbala, and local elected officials. Still in the same context of the National Solidarity Week, the Djiboutian Ministry of National Solidarity and Social Affairs organized yesterday an open day for needy households and residents of the popular neighborhoods of Balbala and Bul'os. From the early hours of Sunday morning, a huge crowd of people responding to the invitation of the Ministry's office gathered in the large country yard of the administrative headquarters of the sub-prefecture of the 5th district of the commune. Arrived in front of the country of social solidarity located in the headquarters of the 5th district, the participants, most mothers of families, were warmly welcomed by the responsible and agents of the Council Member 5 of MAS. This colorful day was an opportunity for them to point out and make it tangible to the efforts undertaken because many beneficiaries came to testify that the programs implemented have given its fruits. Also yesterday, Sunday, a similar open day was held in the 2nd district in District 7. In the morning, many people, mainly beneficiaries of social programs, rushed to respond to the call of the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity. The day, which took place in a warm and friendly atmosphere, allowed the visitors to discover the missions of the social counters and the different social programs provided for the most vulnerable. This National Week of Social Action, placed under the theme of shock mitigation and recovery of the vulnerable population, is an opportunity to popularize the new strategy of the ministry, which aims to empower the most vulnerable layer of our society and ensure them better socio-economic conditions. The National Gendarmerie deployed this Monday, January 9th, its contingent of 180 gendarmes composed of women and men in the peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic. In this context, the High Command of the Gendarmerie organized a ceremony in honor of the departure of the first FVU of the National Gendarmerie. This huge ceremony, presided over by His Excellency Mr. Hassan Umar Mohammed Burhan, Minister of Defense, in charge of relations with the Parliament, took place at the Hosh Idil Conference Center in the presence of Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, and several senior officers of the institution. A lunch was offered to the UPF staff on this occasion. Let's watch. Within the framework of the success of this deployment, the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, paid a vibrant tribute to His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic and Supreme Chief of the Armed Forces, for his confidence and his unfailing support in the success of this flagship project. For his part, Mr. Hassan Umar Mohammed Burhan, Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, also made a speech emphasizing the importance of the Gendarmerie and how it plays a crucial role as the heart of the defense of the country. The Chief of Staff and senior officers of the Gendarmerie were present at the Humbuli Airport at 4:30 a.m., where they made a guard of honor to the soldiers before boarding the Ethiopian Airlines plane, specially chartered by the United Nations. The plane finally took off at 7:10 a.m. from the tarmac of Djibouti International Airport with the entire team. On the sidelines of the first Djibouti-Turkey Investment and Business Forum, the Djiboutian delegation led by the Ministry of Economy and Finance in charge of Industry, Mr. Ilyas Muzadawali, composed of the Ministry of Trade and Tourism, Mr. Mohamed Warsamadiri, and the Secretary of State for Investment, Mrs. Safiya Mohamed Gadili, and the Ambassador of Djibouti in Turkey, Mr. Adan Hussein Abdullahi, had a bilateral working meeting with the Turkish Djibouti. The discussion focused on the ways and means to strengthen bilateral relations and especially the economic partnership between our two countries. The Minister thanked on behalf of the President of the Republic and the Djiboutian people for the excellent relations between the two countries and the cooperation, especially in the example of success of this cooperation, that is the Djibouti-Turkish Friendship Dam offered by the Burley people. Finally, it was also discussed the technical support to the process of national population, the finalization of the study of the special economic zone with technical partners, and a technical support for the study of mini dams upstream of the Djibouti-Turkey Friendship Dam. In the framework of implementation of the Integrated Water Resources Management Project, the Ministry of Agriculture and Water and the UNFD signed a partnership agreement this morning in the Ministry's office. This agreement was signed by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Ibrahim Elmi, and the Secretary General of UNFD, Mrs. Fatuma Musa, in the presence of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale. This project is part of the program initiated by the President of the Republic and the First Lady and focuses on functional literacy. This project is co-financed by IFAD and the Republic of Djibouti through the MAEPERH with an amount of 107,000 million Djiboutian francs, mainly women and young people who left the school system. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock and Fisheries Resources, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awali, recalled that this project is part of the program initiated by the President of the Republic and the First Lady, focusing on the functional literacy. The Committee on Finance, General Economy and Planning met this Monday, January 9th, to consider the draft law number 182/N/22/8th L on the approval of the financial accounts of the International Company of Hydrocarbons of Djibouti for the year 2021. This meeting, chaired by the Parliament member Sharmanke Musaare, was attended by parliamentarians, members mainly on the Finance Committee, as well as the Minister of Energy in charge of Natural Resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gede, accompanied by officials of the SIHD, after having clarified various themes on the panel of measures put in place and relating to the management of administration of the SIHD. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, our beloved viewers, 40 people were killed and dozens injured in a collision between two buses on Saturday night in Senegal, where President Macky Sall has declared a 3-day national mourning period. The accident, the deadliest in the West African country in recent years, took place Sunday at 3:15 a.m. local time near the city of Kaffrine, about 250 kilometers southwest of the capital, Dakar, according to the National Fire Brigade. Well, by this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Take care.